All right, my friends, I am back with part 2. I'm back with, this is Jay, and this is Summer School for Stitching. And we are working on from a swatch to a sweater. On the previous video, I was just showing you some simple swatches, how to connect to, or how stitches connect to one another, and how to use stitches in the same family and work them. And one of the stitches just jumped out at me, the broken rib. I did a very simple, easy version of it. There's many versions. And when I got through, I thought, you know what, I think this would be real pretty on a sweater. So here's the sweater, and I had you to start working. I laid out the neckband. I laid out the whole neckband on how to work it. I gave you some numbers, and like I said, I can only, there's many of you, and so I can only give some kind of generic numbers, but as this whole thing is to get you to learn how to find your own numbers so that you can knit your own sweater whenever you feel like it. And then, since I work out of stitch books, then I teach you how to just pull stitches out of stitch books and how to put them in the sweater. It doesn't have to be this. It could be another. It could be a lace stitch. It could be a cable. It could be anything. And so that's where we are. Now, another question came into me. I guess I forget sometimes. I knit all of these to, according to my size, because that's all I know. And then I try to give you a size up and down so that maybe you can fit into one of them. But a lot of people, I realize, on this sample, I use a little heavier weight yarn, a little larger yarn with my US number 9 needle so that you could see the stitch and what I was doing. I didn't want to use little bitty yarn and do this. I can't deal with that. Okay, but when you actually pick out your yarn, I work in a medium number 4 weight yarn. Not a bulky, not a kind of, I hate to even say the word worsted weight because it sounds heavy. Get a worsted weight. No, just get a nice medium number 4 weight yarn that's gauged usually to a number 8 needle. Most number 4 weight yarns, if you look on the little yarn band or even at the knit stores, it'll tell you maybe a suggested needle of size 8. That's what I'm looking for. That's what you should be looking for when you get ready to really do your sweater, But for practice sake, I'm just using this heavier weighted yarn so that you can see how things look when I'm knitting it. Does that make sense? And if you like to go to a smaller needle and smaller yarn, you're just going to have to sit down and just do some swatches, take some measurements, measure your arm up in the thicker part of your arm, and if that's about 15 inches, then you got to figure out how many stitches would equal to that 15 inches. It's just a lot about measuring and counting, but you can do it. But what's so good about it, if you take the time to do it maybe once or twice, pick yarns that you like. That was one reason I just gave up knitting from other people's patterns. Not that I didn't like the work. I thought it was beautiful. But every time you get a pattern, you've got to readjust your whole life to fit in whatever yarn that person is using or whatever size needle that person is using for their project. You want to get something that looks similar to what they are sharing with you. But, here I am 5'1", whatever, or less now, but and the person I'm trying to emulate is 5'7" and 140 pounds. It's just not gonna work, and I just got tired of it after years of just wanting to. I just wanted to knit a sweater. Can you understand where I'm going? I just want to knit. So I start saying, I just figured to myself, why don't you get your own numbers? And then anytime you want a sweater, you just knit your sweater. You can look at other people. You can admire their work, and I do. I can't tell you the people I look at their work. Then I come to reality, my under 5 feet reality and such a pounds fluff. And I go, you know what? That's not going to work for me. I can still admire their work, but I'm going to find something that will work for me and will work for my older hands and eyes. Voila. So now on this sweater, as we get started, I had you, like I said, you knitted, and you were supposed to knit up to, let me just give you the last schematic. I try to make it as easy as possible, giving you numbers that I've just kind of worked up from math and from working my own sweaters over the years. I had you to work up to this number that was highlighted, because I was going to do maybe more like our regular sweaters, and then I had, sometimes I have to stop myself and realize just by the comments and the questions people ask me that, you know what, everyone's not in the same place. We have a lot of new viewers. I've gotten so many new subscribers, and they're just like, wow, they're coming in the middle or at the end of the movie, like in the middle of the movie. And so, I can't just catch up with everything, but I can acknowledge, okay, everyone just really maybe don't care if we do regular sleeves to work with the double pointed needles, especially if you got neuropathy or arthritis or something in your joints, and you're just like, oh yeah, I was with you, but I just do something else. So I decided while you were working to come back and share with you, this is what I want you to do. All right, medium to large, we had 46, 1X to 2X, 48. These are the numbers in highlight that you were working up to when I left. And I said, when you reach that number in your sleeve, wait for me there. All right, if you're already there or just about there, all right, what I'm going to have you to do is continue on to this number here. This is the end number of your sleeve. So just forget about this number in the center. Just keep working until you come up to the last number. So medium to large is 56. Then 1X to 2X, 60, which is where my sleeve is now. This sweater right here, I have 60 stitches. Well, another thing, my numbers are always even or divisible by 4, which makes them very compatible. And you're going to come up with even numbers when you're knitting. So that works for me. All right, 2X to 3X, 62. 3X to 4X, 66 stitches. That's what you want to, continue to increase. I'm going to sit that there. Continue to increase. Let me just move my sleeve over here now. And once I reach my number, I go ahead. You might want to go ahead and put some type of mark or piece of yarn or one of those little locking markers, just something so you'll know I have reached my, whatever the number is, 56, 60, 62, 66. I have reached my 60 stitches right here. It's an even number. I counted, be sure to count both sleeves to make sure you didn't drop any stitches. All right, once you reach that, then of course, wait for me there. And then I'll tell you the next step. We're going to do a little more knitting because we're going to close up. If you did the eyelets, or even if you didn't do the eyelets, we still need to close up this bottom edge, and we are going to continue a couple of more increases for your front section because you may not be there by the time you reach your sleeve. The sleeve is the first stitch count you're going to reach. Well, that means you probably need a few more rows in order to reach the front number or close to it, and of course the back number of your sweater. So I simply want you to continue up to the last number, and I will be back and show you, get you started on the next step. I just thank you for all the feedback. I thank you for enjoying this. Like I said, I'm going to try to make this just more on the simple side because, like I said, I had so many new people to join us for Summer School for Stitching, and I'm excited. And they gave me some great comments, and they were excited, and some of them just found me. So, yay! All right, continue to knit, and I will be back shortly. So I've come back to share with you the next step after you reach your sleeve count, the end number that I just shared with you. Of course, we're on the right side. You come back, and now we're on the right side, and on the right side, we have to remember to keep our our broken rib border, and on the right side you simply just knit across. Okay, you see how on that video, first part of the video, on the first part I got it all mixed up. Don't knit when you're tired or sleepy. Note to self. Okay, but I made the correction anyway. So now I get up because I want to continue to increase my front edge and my back, but I want to stop the increase on the sleeve section. Alright, so I simply just knit up on the right side. Now I'm just knitting as usual. Let me see, my hands are a little, okay, here we go. So I'm just knitting up, and I come up to, I should have the increase, no matter which one you're doing. I come up to 2 stitches before the marker because I'm doing the yarn overs. See it? And then I yarn over, I knit my 2 stitches. Then I stop. Now, that increased the front side of the sweater. But now, when I slide the marker, now I'm in the sleeve, and we're up to our number, so all I have to do is slide the sleeve and just start knitting. Knit across. Don't increase. Just knit across like this. I'm going to stop a minute and just show you about what my number is for my front. Let's go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. I know I have to be at least in the 40 range. So I'm up to 40, 42, and with that 1 stitch I have 43 stitches. So I probably would, 44 would be good for me, my front. You have to kind of have an idea of your numbers, of how many, from my waist to my belly button, 44 or 46, but I'm going to probably go for 44. We'll see if I can go for 44. So that means I'll have to go around again in order to reach the 44. This was 42, 43, so I know I'm going to have to go one more time at least. Alright, I just want you to see what my number. So that's one side, 44, and then I'll need 44 on the other front. Does that make sense? Gotta know your numbers. Once you get get some numbers down that will fit you and feel comfortable, and know where to take some of the numbers in or out, you will be a happy camper. You will be a happy summer school camper. Because you'll be like, Jay, I can just take any stitch now and just knit myself a sweater. I used the number 9s when I got fluffier. Number 8s when I started, when you look on YouTube, I started with US number 8 needles. I wasn't as fluffy. Go back and look. I wasn't as fluffy. But once I started getting fluffy, I didn't really need to go up a whole size and throw all the numbers out the window. Just throw everything out and start. No, I simply tried to go up 1 needle size to give me some positive ease for the extra fluff I had gained over the years. Especially during the COVID, our event where I just sat in the house, I'm trying to stay in, and, and at the end, I gained fluff. Alright, so that's why I use the number 9. But like I said, if you don't have fluff, and even we could be in the same size, but you say, Jay, I really don't have fluff. I can get into a nice size. Okay, you can work with the number 8. You're just going to have a little tighter fabric. It's not going to be quite, won't have the ease that I'm going to have and need. And besides, hot flashes are real. Don't you let nobody tell you hot flashes aren't real. I can't have this stuff too tight on me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is knit across. Now I'm going to walk you through a little bit. The sleeve. Get to this side of, let me turn it, make sure I'm on camera. Just talking here, but let me check. Yep. Okay, so when I get to this side, of course the sleeve, because I got it marked to remind me that I'm the sleeve is kind of at a stopping point. All right. Then I go ahead and just knit up to the last stitch. Don't increase or do anything, slide the marker. But on this side that represents the back, see, that's the back, I have to knit 2 stitches, 1, 2, then yarn over and continue across the back, all the way. I go all the way around the sweater, doing the same thing. Here's the other side of the back. I still want to increase into it, so I knit up to 2 stitches before the last 2 stitches before the marker. I yarn over, I knit those 2 stitches. That's the end of the back. Slide the marker. Now I'm in the sleeve, which I do not want to increase. I'm already there, and I have it marked to remind me, oh no, I don't need to increase anymore in the sleeve. All right, so I just knit across all the way. And then when I get to this side, I knit the last stitch of the sleeve. I slide the marker, and guess what? I'm at the front again. And I definitely need to increase because I have just increased the other front. So I will slide the marker, knit 2 stitches, 1, 2, okay, and then yarn over, and then continue to knit across the front. And don't forget, on the front, the border, the broken rib, we just simply knit. So I knit those stitches. And then, of course, when I turn the work, then I will have to do the 1 by 1 rib in the band, in the front band. Then I just purl all the stitches all the way across. I will meet you on the next right side row. All right, my friends, I am back. I did a round or 2 off camera. So now I want to come back and help you or show you how to check your numbers. Before we separate for the sleeves, let's do a little kind of check and balance and show you how easy it is to go back and check your numbers. All right, first of all, when I left, I had shared with you I was counting my front just to kind of see for myself if I was close to where I need to go. And then I thought, well, I need to share with them how, what should I have, Jay? All right, let's go ahead and take it. Let me show you what you should have and how you're going to check it. All right, here's my little schematic. I'm going to just lay it here. Hopefully it can be seen. All right, on medium to large on the schematic, I give you an increase of 25 stitches. All right, you want to know, okay, Jay, I'm knitting and I'm going to count you're going to count your raglan increase, which is the easiest way for those that did the eyelet. So we just count 1, 2, 3. We keep increasing till we got to our number, keep increasing up to the number we're supposed to, and we reached our sleeve count and we stopped. Now you need to know how many stitches you should have for the front. On this medium to large, she has 17 stitches for each front. All right, we need to increase each front 25 times. So I simply add 17 plus 25 equals 42 stitches. So this person, medium to large, when you get ready to count and check your front and see how close, or if you reach the correct number, you should have at least 42 stitches for each front after you finish all the increases. All right, the next one is, I think it's mean. Yes, it's the 1x to 2x. I simply take just like I said, I have 18 stitches on each side, each front for this particular sweater. All right, I'm going to take 18 plus 26, and that's going to give me 44. Just like I said, I think I should have 44 stitches. Okay, that's before I even check the math. So that person will have 44 with the 26 increases. All right. Now, 2x to 3x, this person has 20 stitches. So I'm simply going to take, and she's going to increase 27 times. So 20 plus 27, I could do that in my head, but I'm going to do it on here, equals 47 stitches for each front once she gets down to her total number of increases. And she wants to make sure you're going to count and says, okay, I've reached that. So I can stop increasing and we'll get ready to separate for the sleeve. Last but not least, this person has 21 stitches and she needs to increase 28 times. So 21 plus 28 equals 49 stitches for each front. Does that make sense? And if this person felt like, sometimes, like I said, these are generic numbers. If you say, oh, yeah, can I go on up to 50? Sure, you can just go right on up to 50. Now, that may cause your sleeve to enlarge a little bit, but don't worry about the sleeve. When we actually get ready to knit the sleeve in the round, we will decrease stitches to get back to the number that we should have. So if you felt like, well, I like a little more in the front, Jay, and since I'm up to 49, can I go ahead and go around again and make another increase on each front side? Everything else stays the same, but I just feel a little more comfortable. Sure, make it an even number. 50 is fine. Then when we do the sleeve, we will remember that. We're going to count the sleeve, and we see we have too many stitches. We can just take them out because, we're going to be increasing. All right, let's see. So that was that. Now you know kind of how to check. This is why my numbers are divisible by 4. They're very compatible, and there's always a way to check to see if the numbers by math only. But like I say, everybody has a body type, and you may have to compensate or do some tweaking here and there. But you have at least 4 stitches to tweak any part of the sweater. Don't go over 4, but at least 1, or you can do it with 2, or you can do it with 3, or you can do it with 4 to tweak this sweater to make it fit. Now, once I have done that, I have reached, so this is what I want to get to next. We are ready to separate the sweater now. Once you get your fronts and you have counted your increase, or you at least know you have your sleeve count, stop. That's all you need to do. I'm satisfied with my fronts. They match. That's the main thing. Don't have one number and one. They match. The sleeves match. They have the same number, stitch count. Now I want you to get you're going to need a number 9. In fact, you'll need 2 or 3, 2, 3, whatever. 9/16 circular needles. I don't put my sleeves on waste yarn. I go ahead and put them on a needle. These needles are not that expensive. I just get them. I'd rather have the needle on there, and I don't have to. It's so hard to get those stitches off that waste yarn, especially if you're new. So if you have it on the needle, you're ready to go. So go ahead and have 2 or 3 or a couple of these 9/16" needles. Number 9, 16 in length. See it? And we will be back and get ready to start to separate our sleeves and fill in the gap. Back in just a moment. Okay, we're ready to separate our sleeves. I am just knitting up. I've already taken care of my front edge, and I'm just knitting across the front. We have done our check and balance. Showed you how to do that. Now I'm just knitting up till I see the marker for the sleeve. I still have my mark in. Let me just check and see if I'm going the right. Yep, that looks good. Alright, so I'm just going to knit up to that sleeve mark. I still have my markers in place. Alright, when I get up to that marker, now I can take it off because we're going to get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead and cap that needle on that side so I don't lose any stitches while I'm doing it. I'll just pull my needle up. Now, here are the sleeve stitches here. My first sleeve that I come to right there. This is where I'm going to take a needle. And sometimes if I can't find another number 9, as long as I get a number 8, just get something close. It's just a placeholder. I'm not going to knit with it. I'm just going to hold the stitches until I'm ready to knit the stitches. Now, so I take the needle and I just simply start transferring all the stitches, just like this. And I'm transferring them with the needle pointed in the purl position or direction. See that? Just not in the knit, but going down like that. And I'm just going to transfer them. We're not knitting them right now. We're just taking them off this needle so that we can continue working on the sweater. This is just a placeholder. If I don't have a number 9, I'll pick up a number 8, 16". And you can see here's a metal needle, here's a bamboo. I don't worry too much about simple stuff like that. I'm just holding the place. I just need to get these stitches on a separate needle. And then I'll find the right needle. I'll make sure before we start knitting, though, that I have the correct needle that I should have for doing the sleeve. So I'm going to do this, just do one real quick. Last time I just was so worried about if I did it right. On one video a long time ago, I just thought, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't botch it. Look, people, we don't get any kind of manual to share with you how to do YouTube videos. But you're on your own, and you just have to do the best you can until you get yourself a system or a rhythm. All right. I hope and believe that I'm getting better than when I started. All right, you see I'm coming up. I'm just transferring, not working them. I'm just transferring these stitches from this needle, my long needle with all the other stitches. All right, I see that I've come to that marker. That lets me know, okay, you can stop now. That's all the stitches. So I'm going to pull this one up, and if I had a thing, which I got somewhere, okay. But the thing, what I want you to see is I have this on a placeholder or a needle so that when I'm ready, I can come back and I'll make sure I have the correct needle to start working my sleeve so that we don't get second sleeve syndrome. You see that? Now, in order to get these out of the way and just kind of, they hold the place, take a rubber band. Just take a rubber band and go around these stitches, just these needles, just like this to make sure nothing falls off. Just like that. Voila. Now I can take this needle, stick it kind of down below, kind of bend it under, get it out of the way as much as possible. Now I go back to the needle that I was working on that has the rest of the sweater on and the opposite sleeve. This is just one sleeve. All right, now you'll notice, okay, Jay, now we have this big gap. And every sweater you may do add a different number of stitches. On this one, since we have so many stitches on our sleeve already, from practice, all right, let me make sure this part is on because I definitely want you to see that. Everything's kind of bunched up. Let me lay it down. Maybe if I pull in just a little bit, just so you can see this part. Okay, so it's not. All right, here's that gap. There's a sleeve on those needles. They'll be in the way for a little bit. Just kind of tuck them underneath like that or something to get them out of the way so that you can see the gap. Can you see that big space there? That's the underarm. Okay. Well, since we have so many stitches on for the sleeve, I'm going to only cast on 8 stitches, and I'm going to cast on 1 extra so that I can connect. That's the way I connect. I always have a certain number of stitches and then that 1 extra. All right, so, and I'm going to do it the easy way this time because I don't want to confuse. Like I said, I see that we have a lot of people finding me, and I want you to feel confident. And so most people use, that you will see on the YouTube, is the backward loop method to cast on the stitches. It's not my preferred, but I'm going to do it. You just take it and wrap it around your thumb. Take your thumb and go under the yarn. Slide that stitch on. That's 1 stitch. Under, 2. Under, 3. Try not to pull them tight. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8 and 9. I'm putting on 9 stitches, and I put them on real loose, and I did not pull them tight. There's the stitches for the underarm. Now, to continue to knit across, okay, I need my yarn in the back, of course. I got to knit. The last stitch I just put on, I'm going to slide it right over to my left-hand needle, just like this. I'm going to slide it, pull it tight. Now you see the stitch I just slid over there and the first stitch on the left hand needle, that one right there. I'm going to knit those two together. I'm going to just go right up under 2 stitches, knit them together, pull it. Before I do it, I'm going to pull it good and tight, and I'm just going to knit, go into the next stitch and pull it snug, pull it tight, make sure I have a good connection. And that's how easy it is if you do the loop. It's just, to me, they're hard to get off when we get back around, but don't worry about it. I'll walk you through it. Put this down. Now look. It's fiddly and kind of hard to kind of see what you have, but you can see the sleeve on the needle. Now this, you can see where we bridged the gap. I used 9 stitches only because I wanted to connect, but there's only 8 stitches when we come back. Does that make sense? So I'll know when I get back around that we have 4 stitches, and I'll put a marker for the center, or if you feel like, you can go ahead, let's see. If you can see it good right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can go ahead and mark, put one of these locking markers right there. So if I have 4 on one side, then I should have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches on that side. And there's the center of my sleeve. So yeah, you can go ahead and since we can see those stitches really clear, go ahead and put your marker there. Alright, so now all I have to do, watch. Now we're in the back of the sweater. Once I take those sleeves off, I'm still on this long circular needle. So now all I have to do is knit over to the second sleeve and do the exact same thing, and then I'll just kind of walk you through it. Alright, I am back. I went ahead and I worked both underarms under each sleeve, and instead of going right to the sleeve, I suggest that you go and let's go down the body. Then you can get an idea of where your sleeve and how to work the beautiful your decorative edge for your sleeve also, like we're going to do on the bottom. But right real quick, here's a look at where I am so that we can, I'm just checking in so that you can see how much I've gotten done. I've gone down the body. I decided to crop my sweater. So I normally maybe go 20 inches. I work down. Let me see if I can just pull this over like this. Here's the underarm. Here's where I marked. Let me see if I'm on. Yep. Here's where I marked. I'll pull it up. The center underarm of my sleeve, so I can come back and when I get ready to work it. But I decided to work on down. I went down, I'm very short, so I only had to go down about 6 or so inches before I wanted to stop the stockinette, this section in here, and decided to go ahead and add the ribbing, just like the ribbing at the front edge. See if that helps. Okay. Does that make sense? And as you can see, I've done about 2 inches worth of the broken rib at the bottom edge of my sweater. So my entire back, say the measurement, is about 18 inches. Right at 18 inches. I stopped at 16, put a couple of inches of the ribbing on the bottom, just like I did fact, when I got to where I wanted to stop the stockinette portion, make sure you're on the wrong side to start the 1 by 1 of this broken rib, and you start here with, you had the first 9 stitches, just leave the mark in. First 9 stitches, you knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, you end with a knit, so that means you slide the marker, then the next stitch will be a purl, a knit, a purl, a knit, just like you stay in the same pattern all the way into the other edge. Let's see, and then you'll come out right here on this edge. You'll have the marker in, and you should end with a purl, slide the marker, go back into knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, so that it comes out exactly in the same sequence that that we've been working down the front. Does that make sense? But let me say this. Make a note real quick, because I found as I was working across the bottom edge, I was going to have 1 stitch too many. I didn't count or anything. You don't really have to count. But I'd say when you got right here, past or somewhere here near the middle of the sleeve or on the back side of the sleeve. See right here, right in this area. Nothing, you don't have to measure or do all that. Just as, oh yeah, she told me to take a stitch out. And I don't want you to take it out the front or the back. I mean, each front, I want you to take it out more near the back. So as you're working the knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, find 2 stitches and knit 2 together. Just right here, just one time, find 2 stitches, knit 2 together. Okay, then purl 1, knit 1, and continue on in the pattern of the broken rib. Just go ahead and remove that 1 stitch, because we did have 1 stitch extra, and it was going to throw off when you got to the other side. So take it out as you're working across. Does that make sense? As you're on this side of the work and you're working across, you get here to somewhere near the underarm, you just knit 2 stitches together and then get back in pattern. Purl, knit, purl, knit. And it should be just fine. Okay, now that's that. Let's see. Let me, because the sleeves are going to take a little more time. I found that I am going to have to do some decreasing in the sleeve. I think my numbers for me were a little large, so they could be just a little large for you, but there's nothing, don't worry about it. All we have to do is put a little decrease, but I'll do that when we start the sleeve. But I wanted to go ahead and get you started on the body of the sweater. I'm going to roll this up now. On the body of the sweater, so that you can go ahead and do and like I said, make it nice and bold. You know what, I really think the only thing, even though this is just my practice sweater, my prototype, if I had only put 2 inches at the neck, I forgot about that. Remember, we was going to make that a rule. Jay broke her own rule. I wish I had gone up. It would have made such a presentation in this neckline, and the neckline would have been a lot sturdier. So, note to self, and let's just go, like I said, I broke my own rule, but I should have tried to go at least 2 inches or so, almost 2 inches at the neck, and that would have really gave us a neckline that would really stand up and stand out. But I can go ahead and do it down here on the bottom. I did at least 2 inches. Then when you bind off, make sure you bind off on the wrong side of the fabric of the sweater, and just do it in the knit stitch. Knit 1 stitch, then knit the 2nd stitch, reach back and bind off. Knit the next stitch, even though you will be on the wrong side. Remember, I like to bind off where I can on the wrong side to give me this nice little funny edge and not this funny line. So knit, reach back and bind off. Knit the next stitch, reach back and bind off on the wrong side of the fabric after you've done your 2 inches or whatever. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's where I want to just end this video, because I really want you to, I think it would be easier, and then when we come back for the last part, I'll have all the finishing touches. I'll try to think of anything else that I need. I'll have, maybe a little surprise just to let you see it. Even if I'm not able to, if I have time to get it on, fine. If not, but, I will wear it on down the road somewhere. I got so many things I need to get filmed. But I think you're going to like it. Like I said, and these are not long sleeve sweaters. Since I'm cropping my sweater entirely, my sleeve is going to be cropped too, just a little below my elbow. And then I'm going to put the same band when I come back. I'll show you how we're going to do that. So this is Jay, and this is Jay's, this is the broken rib raglan sweater, and I'm doing the crop version. We have a beautiful front edge, and then when you put in this bottom edge border, and then we're going to put it on the sleeve also, this is going to make quite a cute little, even though I was just practicing on this one, it's just going to make a really nice sweater. and a nice pattern. And don't worry, we are going to, at the very end, like I said on the next video, part 3, I will make sure I take time to go back and we will critique our numbers and see if you need to draw up a new schematic. If you feel like, Jay, this was a little off or this was a little off, this is when you do it on our practice or on my practice piece. Therefore, when you spend your money, you will be spending your money wisely, getting good yarn, the yarn you really want, and so much time you will save because we have worked out all our problems. All right, so happy knitting, and I will see you soon in part 3, and we will start to work on, I will have one sleeve done, and then so you can see the finished sleeve, and then I'll show you how to get started on the second. All right, enjoy yourself. See you in just a bit.